Hello vinyl community, this is Mark from Westchester, Pennsylvania, putting together my 12th video of my vinyl collection, and this is going to be the G's. And I don't have a ton of G's, but what I do have of the G's, I have a lot of certain artists. We'll start with Peter Gabriel. Now when he left Genesis, I wasn't a big fan of his early stuff. I bought these albums because I just wanted to hear what he was doing. And this is a motion picture album of Birdie. And there's also his first, they're all called Peter Gabriel. You know, it's the one with his fingernails going crazy. And this is not for sale. So this is a very nice copy of this. And I did always like DIY. That was a great little tune. I like the thought behind do it yourself. Big proponent of that. Let's see if you can see some more of this. In any case, I like this album. The Birdie one's kind of interesting, to be honest. I've listened to it once, not really sure. It didn't beg me to come back and listen to it again. But now we get into the Genesis albums that I have. This is not an original pressing, but it is the first big Genesis album. There was Genesis to Revelation, which I don't have. I love Genesis. I really love Genesis. In the Peter Gabriel days, yes. And in fact, if they could release these albums without the vocals, I would love to hear them. Nursery Crime, lovely album. Lovely album. I particularly like For Absent Friends, which is a very quiet little piece. And Musical Box, obviously. I mean, this album's really good. I enjoy it very much. But my favorite one, and the one that I was initiated on Genesis, was Selling England by the Pound. This is one of my top 10 albums that I like, period. I mean, it would fit in there. There is not a bad second of music on this album. And it's just, what can I say? This is something that I treasure, and I have another copy of it. And I used to hear this all the time when it came out. Rock radio was playing it quite a bit, and I really got the Genesis bug. But then when Lamb Lies Down on Broadway came in, I was like, what happened to that great feel and sound of Selling England by the Pound? Well, I don't know. This album has never caught me, and I tried to sit down and listen to it a couple of times. I don't think I ever got through the whole thing, but I do have it, and I promised myself that I will check it out. And those of you who know this very well, and you'll say, what a nincompoop you are, this is a very nice album. Well, I'm sure it is a nice album. And the nice thing about albums is we can listen to them many years after we buy them. Genesis Trick of the Tail. It's still good because Steve Hackett's in the band. They're still doing some really interesting stuff. You know, it's got Ripples, which is very nice, and you know, Dance on a Volcano. But for my money, they started going downhill. And I have Seconds Out, released in '77, and well, it's good, but I mean, you know, it just doesn't have the magic of the older Genesis. And then you get into the later Genesis, and I have nothing of that. But I will give a big shout out. I know he's listening, Phil Collins, one of the best drummers in rock and fusion, without a doubt. Tasty stuff. His stuff with Brand X, his singing, his songs, not a fan. Okay, so now we get into Gentle Giant. This is their 1972 release. This is actually a re-release on Blah 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 Records, Tapestry Records. Very colorful. I love this cover. Very nice and red, octopusy like, you know? And bluish. greenish bluish. It looks blue here, it looks green on the screen. Anyway, my, you cannot go wrong with the early Gentle Giant stuff. I love Gentle Giant, and that means I have a few of their albums. In a Glass House, probably my favorite Gentle Giant album. I mean, I knew of Gentle Giant many, many years ago, but once again, when I got into vinyl, I started finding out more and more about this band, reading up on them and their history, and I think they were absolutely wonderful. I think if there was a weak link in the Gentle Giant sound is the vocals. Again, if I could have this music as instrumental, I'd be in heaven. If anybody has any tapes, get in touch. This is Freehand, and His Last Voyage is, I think, obviously the killer on this tune, on this album. Okay, so, and yes, there's many more Gentle Giants, but that's what I have. And there's many more gongs. And this is what you're listening to right now. This is the first cut on the second side, Cat in Clark's Shoes. Hear the cat and hear the shoes? Yes. And this is a great band. This is not the first album that I've heard of them. This guy, Pierre Morlin, put out, he sort of took the group over after so many years, and he's the guy I heard about first with Gong. This is Espresso 2, and Alan Holdsworth's on this, as he is on a few of their albums. We miss Alan Holdsworth very much, so we miss a lot of people. Here's Pierre Morlin's Gong, and that's Pierre Morlin. Oh, and that's his Gong, yeah. And I think all these albums are great. But the one that I know the most is this one, because I've had it for about 25, 30 years, Pierre Morlin's Gong. I somehow relate this to the radio station that I worked at. I think I might have heard Time is the Key on WXPN radio in Philadelphia. And I picked this up, and I love the second side of this piece. Is it the second side? No, it's the first side, which has, it's all instrumental, and it centers around Pierre Morlin and his vibes. And the other side is fusion with a lot of electric guitar and stuff, and yeah, Alan Holdsworth's the guy, and I just didn't dig this side of it. But the first side, all this is really excellent, and it all segues into each other. Very nice. Speaking of Pierre Morlin, that's him in the background. This album, Good God, is a kind of rare album. It's a bunch of guys up in New York City, I believe, putting together. Actually, no, they're in Philadelphia. Jeez, my hometown, Philadelphia. This was recorded at Sigma Sound. I'm getting them mixed up with White Elephant, I think. Yes. Anyway, it's a good album. It's jazzy rock. I listened to it once again. I listened to it once. I have a couple of the tunes, if not all the tunes, on my iPod, but it doesn't seem to come up. My iPod is very picky about stuff. It puts on a lot of Beatles, which I like, but after a while, it's like, come on, give me something other than just the Beatles. Okay. Jerry Goodman and Jan Hammer, who are both from the Mahavishnu Orchestra. This is a solo album that they, well, solo. It's a duet album that they put together with. Well, see, there's Jan Hammer on the drums. He's a drummer. Interesting sounding drums. They sound like they have a big, gigantic towel over them. I like this album. There's nothing that really sticks out to me that goes, wow, that's fabulous. But it's a good listen all the way through. Now here's a band that I normally would not think about buying or putting in my collection, but this is Grand Funk Railroad, and good singing, good playing. Why did I buy this album? Because Mr. Frank Zappa produced it, and he's on a couple of these tunes. Now you can sort of see these guys. There they are, sort of. This guy's got bad teeth problems, so we're hiding his teeth, you see. Anyway, and I do like the Zappa stuff that's in there where he plays his guitar. Now we're coming up to the Grateful Dead. Now, for those of you who are Deadheads, I'm sorry, I'm not a Deadhead, but I do like this album. And I also like Terrapin Station. But this one here has Truckin' on it. And as much as people don't like trucking, it's still a great tune. When I was 9 years old, I heard this tune, 1970, and it's still a great tune. Great tune. And I don't know. There's other tunes on here that are okay. I just don't get the Grateful Dead. I just really don't. But don't hate me. But what I do get, I get the Grease Band. I really like the Grease Band. I didn't realize that Paul McCartney's guitar player, Henry McCulloch, was one of the members of this band, one of the setting members of this band. And the song, come on, where is it? And Let It Be Gone. Heard this when I was a child. Loved it. Great guitar playing, great drumming. The drummer in this band's really good. Another song that sticks out is All I Want to Do, which is just basically a jam. This is a very good album. I like it a great deal. It is a gatefold. I'll just show you what it looks like inside. Well, I didn't remember what it looked like inside, and this is probably why I didn't remember. It almost looks like Chagall did that, or Matisse. Very nice. Anyway, so I have a couple of greens. This one being Al Green and his greatest hits. I do like Al Green quite a bit. Very funky stuff. What on here is like really good. When he does Beatles stuff, he does a great version of I Want to Hold Your Hand, which is not on this. But yeah, The Letter. There's another Beatles tune, Get Back Sometime. Everything he does, he takes and makes it an Al Green thing. And then I do have Grant Green, whom I more or less recently discovered within the past few years. Great guitar player. And I do enjoy this album when I listen to it. Can't knock him. It's too bad he passed away a long time ago. Now we're getting to the R's of G's. Griffin. Griffin is kind of reminds me a little bit of Gentle Giant. There's an album there that I don't have that has Spring Song on it, which is a wonderful song. This is a good album. I like this album a lot, and this is specially banded for airplay. I guess everything else on their normal album, on the album that was released, all segues. But this is not segue. Canned Heat. Actually, it's not Canned Heat, is it? It's the album Canned Heat by the Guess Who. Now, the Guess Who, back in its day, was a big, big band. And they did, No Sugar Tonight in My Coffee, No Sugar Tonight in My Tea. And No Time, which is on here, Undone. What a great song. She's Come Undone. That's probably one of their best songs. Another one that they did that's not on this album, Don't You Want to Rain Dance. I think that song, Rain Dance. Great little tune. When I was like 12 years old, I tried to play that on the guitar and the keyboard and the drums, and I couldn't do it. I can do it now. Okay, so I'm winding down here. This is called The Guitar Album. And I got this from a friend of mine way back in the olden days of like the 70s. And here's all the people that are on this album. You got everybody from Eric Clapton to Roy Buchanan to, golly, well, there's a lot of Roy Buchanan. Ellen McElwain, T-Bone Walker, Roy Gallagher. This is a fine album. I heard Slinky for the first time on this album. If I open it up, here's information on that album. Hope you can see it. Fine album. Glad I got it. And finally, my only Arlo Guthrie album, The Best of Arlo Guthrie, which does have Alice's Restaurant, which I do play on the guitar. Yes, I do, ladies and gentlemen. And I have friends that I get together with once a year, and we do the whole Alice's Restaurant Massacre with 5-part harmony and stuff like that. 27 8x10 color glossy photographs. This also has the motorcycle song. It's a motorcycle song. I don't want to pick. I just want to ride my motorcycle. It's coming into Los Angeles. Arlo is a treasure. Now, when I was a kid, I went with my dad to see him. I wanted to see Alice's Restaurant, and it was in the 70s, and he was playing with Pete Seeger, and he wouldn't touch Alice's Restaurant. And I saw him at the Philadelphia Folk Festival maybe 10 years ago, And when he started Alice's Restaurant, I was so very happy. As I am right now. I am done the G's. I hope you enjoyed my G collection. As I said in my last video, at some point I will be bringing out my group, One Alternative's new recording, which will be out on LP within about 3 weeks or so. And I plan to let the vinyl community know about it as much as I can. In the meantime, I hope you are well. And as Franco Zappalando said, music is the best. Don't you forget it.